The media is reporting something quite shocking about a new discovery in the Epstein files, and it's not what you think. Besides the fact that CBS is reporting that newly released video logs of the prison where Epstein was being held on the night of his death seem to contradict official accounts, which I'll get into later. Shocking new emails, allegedly sent from the former group chief executive of Barclays Bank, Jess Staley, have been unearthed. And these emails appear to have been sent during the time that Sao Paulo was experiencing violent protests, where protesters were clashing with police, they were vandalizing banks, they were blocking streets. And these protesters at the time were upset with the 2014 FIFA World Cup taking place in Sao Paulo, as it resulted in things like higher bus fares and poor public services and corruption. Now, this email, allegedly sent from Jess Staley, reads as follows. You want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks in hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z, and that was sent by Jess Staley, allegedly. Other random files included in the dump involve alleged emails like this. This email appears to be sent from someone named Ismo, asking Jeffrey Epstein, do you remember the name of the gynecologist that you used to send your victims to? Now, compared to everything else in the files, this isn't even the tip of the iceberg. A trend that's currently going viral on social media is actually pointing out that people labeled conspiracy theorists 10 years ago were possibly right the whole time. And people like Bill Maher are taking this a step further, even going as far as saying that QAnon deserves an apology. Take a look at this clip.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but where does QAnon go for the apology? You know, I mean, QAnon, which believed in lots of really ridiculous things, like, Democrats eat babies. Yeah. But they were kind of harping a lot on the idea that the elites are running this pedophile ring. And I mean, I made jokes about them. I also made jokes after the Epstein thing happened originally that were on the idea of, well, obviously there was some smoke there. Well, now with all that's come out in the last couple of weeks, there's a little more than smoke. It does look like anybody who was at all able to get in touch with Jeffrey Epstein, he was the man.
We're doing it.
They just, yeah. I mean, and then they all lied about it. Everybody has, and the arrogance also of thinking they could just use their real name in an email, which they did.
This gives us a really interesting insight into what public perception could be. What people are also waiting on is the public testimony of Bill and Hillary Clinton regarding the Epstein files. But one representative says it might not happen exactly the way the public may think. Take a look at this video.
James Comer. All right. She wants to tell you how to do your job. You're saying no.
No, look, she has moved the goalposts millions of times throughout this entire process, then fires out an email attacking me today, accusing me of moving the goalpost, and she's the one who's tried to move the goalpost again. She agreed to a standard deposition. The deposition will be made public. So what she's asking for is already going to happen. The deposition will be videoed. You'll have the audio and a transcript. Everyone in America will have access to it. Every deposition I've ever done in the 3 years I've been chairman of the House Oversight Committee, we have released the transcript and the video and the audio. So what she's asking for is already going to happen. But what she really wants, Sean, is a committee hearing. And everyone that's ever watched a committee hearing in Congress, including the one in the House this week with the Treasury Secretary, knows that committee hearings are more for entertainment than substance. The deposition is for substance. This is a serious investigation. The purpose of the investigation is to get justice for the victims and to figure out why the government failed the victims and who the bad guys were and if they can be held accountable. So this is about the victims. This isn't about the Clintons. The Clintons are trying to play the victim cards. The victims of Epstein are the victims, not the Clintons.
Now, we're going to take a deep dive into something pretty interesting CBS has reported, that newly released video logs of the prison where Epstein was being held on the night of his death seem to contradict official accounts. So what contradictions are CBS talking about here? Well, there were 2 documents released by the DOJ regarding the analysis of the video footage in the prison. The first one is the FBI's analysis of the video footage where at 10:39 p.m., they document a flash of orange that looks to be going up the L-tier stairs. could possibly be an inmate escorted up to that tier. The second is the DOJ's Office of Inspector General's analysis that says at 10:39 p.m., a flash of orange can be seen going up the stairs of L upper tier. Inmates are currently on lockdown. It is possible someone is carrying inmate linen or bedding up the stairs. Official reports state that Epstein died by suicide sometime before 6:30 a.m. when his body was discovered by a corrections officer delivering his breakfast. No official time of death was ever determined. In recent months, there have been questions about the work of investigators probing the circumstances of his death. What CBS also includes here, at the end, is the interviews conducted with Michael Thomas and Tova Noel, the people who reportedly found Epstein dead. CBS reports that investigators asked Michael what happened to the noose, and he responded, "I don't recall taking the noose off. I really don't," he replied. "I don't recall taking the thing from around his neck." Noel, who remained standing at the cell entrance, allegedly told investigators she saw Thomas lower Epstein to the floor but did not see a noose around his neck. The noose Epstein allegedly used has never been definitively identified. According to the Inspector General's report, a noose collected at the scene was later determined not to be the ligature used in Epstein's death. So there's a lot of questions regarding the timeline of Epstein's death here. What happened? What didn't happen? We're interested in what you guys think, and also what you guys think that Bill and Hillary Clinton might say during their testimony. We always read the comments, so we're happy to hear what you have to say. As always, I'm Jakson Buhaj, and I will see you guys in the next one.